We got Blackwings for you guys, along with some Unchained and, well, everybody's favorite pile of hero cards. I'm back. 30% of you guys have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 103,000. Should actually hit that today if we're lucky. So the first list we're going to be looking at here is from the online battleground here. First place, Blackwings. Now, this being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've kind of seen Blackwings kind of do some relatively questionable things throughout the years here. This build technically doesn't really rely on the Halki Fibrax extension combo here. But, interestingly enough here, I see that we do have triple Raigeki main decked here, which means that our Blackwing deck will be able to combo break, actually. I see that we do have a couple of Blackwing, or excuse me, a couple of Raid Raptor extenders in the deck here, so you can basically kind of capitalize off of extending through our big old Raid Raptor link. And I also see, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get some mileage off of this deck, because you can technically make Ultimate Falcon in here. If you've ever wondered why Blackwings can do random strange things, it's because, well, they can just kind of hop on up into, you know, Kali Yuga or some of these other relatively devastating options. And I think that's the thing that's relatively cool about a deck like this is, no matter what really happens, you know, if you can do weird plays out of left field that players won't really expect, then you'll technically get free chicken tenders, free chicken tendies, and get rewarded for it, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, rank up shenanigans are going to be one of the key backbones to this deck. And I mean, let's be honest here, the fact that you can basically OTK your opponent through Raiders Night, you know, rank up shenanigans, man, it feels good to see a deck like this, you know, being able to perform. Outside of that, there's nothing really weird about this. The only other thing that like feels weird is like you might look at the triple Raigeki and be like, you know, I don't need to play this, but at the end of the day, those Raigekis give you a little bit more of a presence and a little bit more of an option to OTK a little bit easier. You'd be surprised being able to special summon 5 friends from your hand does. Next up here is Unchained, the Distant Coder special, effectively here. Now, the thing that always interests me about this deck is, if Dragoon's present in the meta, this deck is a pile of dog. Alright, the fact you can't target the Dragoon, do anything like that, it wholeheartedly sucks. Now, the first thing that sticks out to me here is this build is opting to do extravagance plays, which means maybe post-structure deck reprint, this will be a little bit more accessible here. I also see that we are playing access code talkers in the extra deck down there, so just kind of make up in case, you know, an extrav goes wrong or something along the way. That's one of the like worst trade-offs about a deck like this is, you know, you want the extra draw power off of extravagance, but you also need to maintain some of your key extra deck resources. So if you can fit in, you know, an extra copy of an access code machine, you'll typically be able to do what you want to do. I also see here we're main decking 1 DD Crow. That's actually a kind of an interesting tech choice. I believe that's probably more local meta oriented here. The other thing is down here we have the Gammas and the Driver in the side deck, so we can bring those in case we need be. I also see that we have the Godarlas. Fortunately, that means it's probably some Flunder players present at this locals. You know, most of the time when you opt to play a Kaiju, it usually is because, you know, the wind barrier statues being a pain in the butt somewhere along the way. So you got to kind of deviate and pick some option trees in order to kind of counteract that. Outside of that, the Dark Rule of No More is also in the side deck. Will help you with board breaking shenanigans. Honestly, this deck's greatest weakness, as I said, is, you know, Dragoon. Some of those more pain in the ass boss monsters that a slower control deck like this kind of struggles to handle. So outside of that, nothing else too out of the ordinary. If you're a budget player and you're looking at this deck, like maybe as an option in the near future, you're getting one step closer, but those hand traps are still gonna hurt you, man, in terms of value. It's absolutely disheartening to see how much some of these hand traps cost. Next up here is Elemental, not just kidding, it's a hero deck, ladies and gentlemen. Haha, you thought you were getting a hero deck. So what sticks out about this hero deck? First off, double Stratos. For all of you people out there, like, no, you still gotta play 3 Stratos. Yeah, just like, you know, you have to play 3 Blue Eyes Alternative, you have to play 3 Dark Magician in the Dark Magician deck. No, you don't. Alright, a lot of these players kind of look at some of these builds and they start shaving off some of these deader cards. Now, the other thing I see here is we got Dark Calling in this biatch, alright? Which means that we are taking back the big boy plays here. Honestly, now that it's budget, now We haven't seen it in so long, actually. Most hero players just cut the Dust of Gold package and was like, there's no point in playing Malicious Bane anymore at this point in time. So to see that, like, a deck like this literally rewound, turned back the time on the scale here and said, you know what, I want to play Malicious Bane. They got away with it, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's a good thing to see here. Of course, this deck is maxing out on triple super polymerization. Why wouldn't you? The other biggest thing about a list like this is you have so many skill trees to go down. Hero, I think, is one of the coolest decks in the game that you can just sit back and watch a good player go down the lines and be like, all right, cool. So now we lock into Hero. If you Fusion Destiny at the wrong time, you're locked into Destiny Heroes. I think that's awesome to see a deck like this just performing up to what the community really expects here. And, especially when you can tech out 44 cards. I think the extra cards really in this situation are probably the Adjusted Gold package. And then, you got, droplets built into the deck. I honestly probably wouldn't touch this deck unless I have droplets. Heroes need to be able to board break and not lose to Nibiru. All jokes aside, we don't even have crossout designators in here. So if we are getting, space rocked, it's a day, ladies and gentlemen. I do like the Scythe package down there, though. Next up here is Dark Magician. Ooh, fancy. I see that we are playing 2 Dark Magician in this list, ladies and gentlemen. So what else does that tell you guys? Oh, you can get away with playing these ratios. I know a lot of players look at a list like this and like, well, no, like, nah, this is fine. I also do like the fact that we have the little mini Sky Striker package in here. Basically, 1 engage resolving gets you Verte Anaconda, which means that you can poop a Dragoon onto the field. Alright, and a deck like this needs to be able to see Dragoon, ladies and gentlemen. Quite honestly, Dragoon is the backbone of this deck. The other thing I find very interesting here is the inclusion of the crossout designators in here. Being able to cross out and, stop your opponent from Ash Blossoming you, or, does this deck hit the Nibiru ceiling? I do see we have the 1 Nibiru built into the main deck here, so that's why I raised that question. It's like, does the Nibiru come up all that much? I'm not sure about that, but Vertiana, well, technically, Hornet Drones, token, into Kagari, add back, step through another one. Yeah, I believe Nibiru does come up against this deck. All right, that's something. I also like the Torrential Tributes in here. Do not underestimate Torrential this format. I think Torrential Tribute as a board-breaking card is stupid good, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so many players just play into the Torrential Tribute, and they're like, oh, like a Dark Magician player is not going to have anything good in their back row. And then all of a sudden, splish splash, they went their entire field, and they're just like, oh, offendedface.jpg, And outside of that, yeah, I do like this list a lot. I do, once again, I like diversity. All right, I like seeing differences between these Dark Magician lists that perform relatively well. And that's freaking awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Differences are amazing here. And the last list we're going to look at for this video is WCQ Aroma. Okay, so we got another one of them there based piles of cards. This is the engine deck that we've all kind of come to know and love here, where normal summon Sanguine is effectively, full combo, where you're able to just like link it out in Dial Mirage, and you're like, oh yeah, let me go search for Crusade Arborea. Well, I'm not using the effect, I'm using the extension special summon clause effect so I can start a combo. This deck pulls the best of all engines together and gives you some of the craziest boards, ladies and gentlemen. I also like the fact that you can play Small World in the deck like this and get away with it. I also heard some crackpot theory earlier. It was like all these 60 card decks are just, ploys by, trading card supply companies to get you to buy more packs of sleeves, ladies and gentlemen. And that hilarious things for 500 that you hear at the end of the day here. But this is another great example of Based doing its job here, where once again you pull all of those engines together. You see players kind of lose their mind when they play against this deck because, one choke point might not be correct. It really just depends on, how much gas this deck has to start its combo. All right, if they have enough extensions and enough plays like that, well, you're probably not going to have a good time, ladies and gentlemen. So that is our chunk of deck profiles for this video, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think about these lists? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Please, I love reading these comments. If you guys have any lists that are performed as well, please feel free to reach out to me and send them on over. And I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day with some more cool ass content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.